Summer, 1942. The German and Italian armies were closing in on the Mediterranean coast. The gateway to Egypt and the Suez Canal lay only a few dozen miles away. If Rommel captured Suez, the lifeline of the British Empire would be severed. The Middle East, India, and all of Asia would be thrown into peril. But then, in a place called Alamein, a new commander emerged, Bernard Montgomery. And here, for the first time in the war, the Allies would stand tall. Alamein was a unique position. To the north lay the sea, to the south, the Qattara Depression. An impassable wasteland for tanks, this meant Rommel could not outflank. He would have to face the British head-on. It was here that Montgomery chose to stand and fight. He told his men, "Here, we shall win, not one step back." In the days that followed, Alamein became a wall of sand, blocking the Nazi dream of conquest. At 11 p.m., October 23rd, more than 800 British guns opened fire. The night at Alamein turned into hell. The opening assault was codenamed Operation Lightfoot. The name was no coincidence. Every British soldier had to move lightly, for the desert ahead was filled with mines, hundreds of thousands of them. Amid the wind and explosions, columns of Sherman and Crusader tanks began to advance. They moved slowly, cautiously, through minefields and German fire. That night, the earth shook as though 1,000 storms had erupted at once. Rommel returned to the front after several weeks of illness. He was shocked to find the Afrika Korps depleted. Only half its men remained. Fuel was scarce, ammunition low. Before him stood a British army twice his size, rich in supplies from Egypt, Sudan, and even America. But the Desert Fox would not surrender. He counterattacked under a storm of artillery. His panzers rolled forward, tearing through British lines before disappearing into the sand. Montgomery responded by holding firm. No chasing, no rushing. He let Rommel exhaust himself. It was the difference between two men. One relied on speed, the other on patience. After 10 days of bombardment, Montgomery launched his decisive blow, Operation Supercharge. The objective, to break the German defensive center at Tel el-Akakir. The guns thundered once more. Hundreds of British and New Zealand tanks charged forward. Rommel knew that if he didn't counterattack, his line would collapse. He threw in his final reserves, the last of his panzers, charging into a battle of annihilation. But this was no longer a battle of tactics. It was a battle of supply, of fuel, and of air. The Royal Air Force ruled the skies. Every German convoy was bombed before it reached the front. Rommel was forced to retreat. On November 4th, 1942, the desert of El Alamein burned. Over 50,000 soldiers drew their last breath beneath the scorching sands. The victory at El Alamein marked the first true turning point for the Allies in World War II. After 3 years of defeat, Britain could finally say it had beaten Nazi Germany. Churchill declared before Parliament, "Before Alamein, we never had a victory. After Alamein, we shall never have a defeat." It was not just a triumph of tactics, it was a triumph of belief. Belief that Germany could be defeated, that the tide of war could still turn. Rommel retreated, leading the remnants of his army across Libya. Montgomery did not stop. He pursued, through Tripoli, toward Tunisia. El Alamein was the full stop at the end of Hitler's North African dream, and it was also the beginning of the Allied counteroffensive, the road that would lead to victory in Europe. From this moment, the winds of the desert had changed. In the next episode, Desert Warriors, How the Afrika Korps Survived, we'll follow the remaining German soldiers to learn how, for them, the war was far from over.